Hello and welcome to yet another edition of On the Spot. I'm Ryan MacDonald, flying solo today because Rich Gallup is out on a well-deserved vacation. But don't worry, I got tons of stuff set up for you to see. The least of which, of course, is new footage of Metroid Prime 2. That's right. Don't ask me how I got it, but I'll tell you all about it a little bit later. Then after that, we're going to take a look at G4's G4 Awards game show that actually was taped this past week and is going to air tomorrow night on G4 Tech TV. We'll have a little bit on that. Then we're going to be joined by our good friend Greg Casavin. Of course, Greg Casavin, if you haven't had a chance to read the Doom 3 review that he wrote, you should do yourself a favor and definitely check that out after the program, or as well watch the video review. He'll be stopping by to answer some of your questions. GameSpot Complete members, of course, should feel welcome to use the on-the-spot form built into the page that'll allow you to send us questions directly. We'll be checking those questions throughout the show and answering them as they come in. So if you have any questions for Greg Casavin on Doom 3, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or anything else, he'll be definitely taking time out to answer your questions. That's the other thing he's going to be doing today. He's going to be downloading everything he knows about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas to us for all of us to know what's happening and what's been known up to this point for the big GTA game coming out this October. That's not all. We got all kinds of fun stuff. Since I've kind of commandeered the studio and by myself today, I've decided to bring in my own Fight Night 2004 build, and I'm going to be playing some people online. So if you are a Fight Night 2004 fan, by all means, please jump into the West 1 lobby. Check it out. Look for Iron Mac D2. I'm in there right now. There's a few people in there looking for a fight. As soon as I basically toss over to this next segment, I'm going to pick up the controller and start playing. So if you'd like to join me, please come find me in the West 1 lobby of Fight Night 2004. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Ghost Recon 2. Our friends from Ubisoft stopped by today, and they kind of gave us a look at Ubisoft. They gave us a look at Ghost Recon 2. Which, of course, is the big sequel to a lot of people's favorite militaristic first-person shooter. They gave us a look today at the Xbox version of Ghost Recon 2. We're going to take a look at that right about now. So joining me on the set today is our good friend Christian Allen from Ubisoft. How you doing, Christian?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So for the folks at home that don't know, you are actually, your title is officially a game designer, correct?
Yeah, I'm a game designer at Red Storm Entertainment. We're working on Ghost Recon 2, and I'm the game designer for the Xbox version.
Fantastic, which is what you brought for us to take a look at today, right?
Yes, sir.
So how far along is the game? I know it's coming out this November, is that right?
Yeah, it's coming out holiday 2004. We're right at pre-final beta. We're got a lot of the features into the game. We're getting them locked down, getting a lot of the little things figured out, but the core of the game's done, and we're just pushing everything together, so it's really coming along.
Right on. So let's take a look at the build you brought.
Well, the big thing you'll notice with Ghost Recon 2, the first thing you'll see is the over-the-shoulder camera. What we wanted to do is we looked at different ways to kind of immerse the player in the game, to give them a little bit different view options. And, early on in the project, we went through a lot of the different options. You know, we kind of didn't want to do what every other title was doing, so this is what we came up with. Basically, we pulled the camera back from the character a little bit, so it's back behind the shoulder, and it just depends on where the character goes and how he interacts with the environment. And what that allows you to do is allows you to see your character as he kind of moves through, as he plays, he fights through the battles. You see him get to do all the cool movements, like the new combat role we have in, and it's a really cool option. And of course, just by either going into a menu or through a profile option, you can just set to the standard first-person view, and if you like that, I call it the kind of the classic Ghost Recon view. The other thing with the characters is we have a whole new animation system. All our motion capture was done by Special Forces soldiers out of Fort Bragg.
Oh, wow.
And we had two guys come down, and they did all our motions for us. So every motion that you see in the game was captured from a real-life Special Forces soldier. And that also allowed us a real level of realism when it came to the actions, because instead of just coming up with arbitrary numbers, say, for example, when we needed to figure out how long it took to reload a weapon, we handed them a weapon and said reload it, and then we motion captured it.
Wow.
So we were done. So all those kind of things, it really helped us get that level of realism up there. So that just brings together with the characters, the movements, all the stuff being, cutting edge realism, just a nice package. And of course, the ghosts are part of your team, and that's one of the real focuses in Ghost Recon 2. So one of the things we wanted to do was just add a lot of accessibility and ease of use when it came to using your team to back you up. And what we came up with was just kind of a dynamic order system based on what you're pointing at. You kind of context sensitive, you point over it. You give one command, one button press, and the team knows what they need to do. In that instance, I was just pointing at terrain, so it defaults to an advanced command and move to that area, so you can order them to navigate throughout the level. If you point at something like an in-place machine gun, you click on it, they'll go over, get on the machine gun, mow down enemies. If you want them to demo a target, you place it on the objective and press on it.
So is there more focus this time on teamwork? I know there was quite a bit in the first game, but did you guys take that one more step? Or?
Yeah, we think so. It's a lot more focused around you, and it really keeps you in the action more because you're ordering your team as you're engaging enemies. You can hold down the button, you get another layer of orders like flank commands, suppress orders, and you can layer those orders on top of each other. Like, for example, you could order your team to flank a position. They'll move out. When they're in the area that you want them to be, you give suppress command. They'll start suppressing fire from where they're at, and now you can move in on the pinned down enemies. So it keeps you in the action, but it's a real focus. And we kind of wanted to give the player, again, options on how he wants to play it. So if you're not really into that, you can just move through the level and your team will stick with you and they'll provide covering fire and they'll watch your back. Or if you want to play the game, ordering your team through every step and just having them kind of focus on targets and do everything, you can play that way too. Obviously, the best way to do it is kind of a combination of both.
Right.
But it's all really about options and focusing on your team as an integral part of the game.
Now I know for one of the things that I loved about the first game was that cool zoom feature you guys had when you zoom in and it had like that T-bar for the crosshairs. Is that still in there?
Yeah, we're working on the zooms. One of the things that's cool with the over the shoulder is when you zoom, it goes down into your weapon, and then we have a screen overlay that simulates, like if you have a scope, it overlays a physical scope on your screen. If you zoom in through a red dot, you see the actual red dot on the screen, and then it has a nice motion blur around the edges to just kind of to give that zoom effect as you zoom in and out.
I gotcha. Well, thank you so much for coming by today, Christian.
Cool, man.
Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Game
yeah.
looks awesome, and we can't wait to see more.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
All right. Let's get our... All right, we're back, and I just got knocked down at Fight Night 2004. But I am playing the action. I got my James Toney against a very good Roy Jones Jr. That's the end of round one. I'll be continuing. Oh, he's just jumping right back into it. The one thing that I'll tell you that definitely came true is you should always test strange PlayStation 2 controllers before playing this game, because if the analog sticks just aren't right, you ain't going to be doing nothing but falling down. But enough of that. We're going to pause it for a sec, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about next. We're going to be looking at, that was the Ghost Recon 2. It looks like a pretty exciting sequel. Next, we're going to be taking a look at one of the most anticipated games coming out for the GameCube this year, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It's going to be, it looks, by all intents and purposes, to be one of the coolest GameCube games that we're going to get this year. Everything we've seen so far has been super exciting, and we're proud to actually bring you the debut of new footage of Metroid Prime 2 today here on the spot. This is going to come directly from a bundled disc. This disc is going to be available on August 15th with the GameCube game console, and basically that's the only way that you're going to be able to get it. The disc, of course, comes with Metroid Prime, the original game, plus a bonus disc that allows you to not only play a small portion of Metroid Prime 2, but also gives you a little brief history of the series, as well as some video trailers that you haven't seen before. But right now we're going to give you a heads up little preview of that, and so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Nothing like a little tease to leave you with, huh? Don't worry, tomorrow if you come back to the site, we're going to have a bunch more on Metroid Prime 2 Echoes from the demo. So if you want to get some media and some impressions, be sure to come back then. But yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how amazing, I mean, that footage you saw for yourself, so it's pretty cool looking, and it's nice to see more of the game. But right now we're going to actually turn our attention to G4ia. G4ia, of course, is G4's award show, which will air tomorrow night on the network. And we had a chance to go visit basically the event where they were having it and taping it this past week. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And when we come back, we're going to have your questions that Greg Castman is going to be answering for you. So if you want to go ahead and send those in, GameSpot Complete users can go ahead and use the form on the spot page and send those questions over to us. And but for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at G4ia. Los Angeles this past week, G4 taped their annual G4ia Video Game Awards show, which will premiere on G4 Tech TV Friday, August 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. The event featured a red carpet entrance for television and film stars that entered the event.
Hold on. I got this covered, Jerry.
This guy.
What's going on? We're just trying to host a show here.
Yeah, well, not so fast. Listen, after the blooper bowl boob flop incident, every award show now needs an FCC liaison.
Like that kind
The real stars for many observers in attendance, however, were the handful of high-profile games that publishers had brought. Some of the games on display included Konami's Rumble Roses and Metal Gear Solid 3, Nintendo's Metroid Prime 2, and Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Valve's Half-Life 2, plus an appearance by Counter-Strike Source, which even Anna Nicole Smith had to stop by and have a look at. Looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. We'll have to tune in tomorrow and see how it turns out. Joining me on the set now, of course, is our good friend Greg Castman. How you doing, Greg?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing super good, man. It's good to see you. I got a billion questions here for you.
Right on.
The one I want to answer first, though, is like you've been a pretty busy man this week.
I suppose that's true.
The release of Doom 3.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little about what's been going on, how the whole thing happened, and it's a pretty exciting story.
Yeah, I mean, well, everything about Doom 3 has just been cause of so much uproar lately. I mean, all the confusion about when it was going to come out, and some people were able to get their hands on the game earlier, and then there was all that nonsense with people pirating the game, which is really unfortunate. And finally, it's out in earnest, so you can go to a store and get it right now. It retails for more than the average game, but it's this larger-than-life game. We've fortunately gotten around to playing all the way through it, testing the multiplayer, testing it on different systems and configurations from high-end to the minimum system requirements and all that. And our verdict is in. It's on the site right now. And, you know, it's a great game. It's really cool. I'm a longtime Doom fan. Doom is my first legitimately amazing, like, online multiplayer experience way back, you know, more than 10 years ago. So, sure, I mean, I was hopeful for this game, same as anybody. And there's a lot that I really liked about it, and some things that I thought could have been better too. But, you know, boy, does it look good. That's really, I think, the thing that people were expecting most of all, and it does truly deliver in that regard.
Were you following any of the, I know there was a lot of news reports going around that it was like being widely pirated. Did you follow any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I did. It's really unfortunate, and I think a lot of it is because of what happened with the confusion over the release date, because some people were able to legitimately buy it as early as last Friday, even though the release date was Tuesday of this week. So those people kind of get on the internet, start bragging. They're like, here's the box, here's the manual. Oh boy, this game is awesome. Everyone else is like, I paid for it, I pre-ordered it, my money's already down. And I think, unfortunately, people find a way to morally justify software piracy at that point. They're like, I've already paid for it. So the thing is, society doesn't actually work that way. That's still not legal. So Fortunately, though, our friends at id Software who made Doom 3, I imagine they're still going to end up okay after all the receipts are in for this one.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, so the review, you actually beat the game before you did the review, correct?
Yeah, of course.
You played it through that first night that we had it, like all the way through. And
yeah, I mean, I kind of marathon through it. It's what I often do. So that's nothing out of the ordinary.
Right on. Now, the one question I have for you is, like, you actually participated in a video tour that's going to appear probably in about 45 minutes after this program on the site. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about that? It's going to show everything off?
Yeah, well, it's not gonna spoil the good bits. The video tour is really for those who maybe haven't yet spoiled the entire game for themselves and just want to get kind of a narrative overview of what's the stuff you encounter, what are the weapons you can use, how's the game's replay value like, and what are the different difficulty modes. So it's not a review, it's more of just a tour of what the game has to offer. And I get to speak to some of the kind of modding capabilities of the game, which is an interesting point, since, already you could check our site and go to the download section of Doom 3. There are already a number of mods for the game that interestingly address some of the gameplay issues that have come up, like the ability to use the pistol and the flashlight at the same time, and neat little things like that. So the game's just got this huge installed community, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with the game. I mean, I've been thinking back lately, and when Quake originally came out, Quake certainly wasn't that great of a multiplayer game sort of out of the box. It didn't have a server browser, so unless you knew the other guy's IP address, you could never find a multiplayer game. Right. But then software came out to let you find matches, and Capture the Flag came out, and Team Fortress came out, and eventually Quake became this legendary game. And who knows, it might happen to Doom 3 also. It of course faces much stiffer competition in the market now than Quake did at the time, but still, I think with sort of the vocal id fan community, we're still going to see a lot of great things come out of the truly amazing 3D engine that Doom 3 runs on.
Right on. Before we move on to GTA San Andreas, there's literally a ton of questions coming in about Doom 3. And it's funny because a lot of them actually kind of are right around the same area. So I think this one question will take care of some of all of your questions. This one actually came in earlier in the week. This comes from Craig Poole, Southern UK. I know that Doom 3 is coming with deathmatch multiplayer only for the PC version, but do you know if any modding tools are going to be released so that modders can make a co-op mode for the PC version?
Yeah, I mean, a co-op mode is... there's already been footage on the internet before the game even came out officially in stores of co-op play and Doom 3 up and running.
Wow.
I mean, again, it's not an official part of the game, but people are going to make it happen, I think. And already, even though the multiplayer only officially supports 4 players, you can already find servers that have 8 or 16 players running around in them. So, it really depends on how intense the community is about turning this game into what they truly want for it to be. And it seems like a lot of people are very motivated to work quickly here. I'm pretty amazed at what people are up to with it. So, yeah, here's hoping.
This one comes from Alan Ward in England as well. The question is, do you think that if the game's released would have happened worldwide on the same day, this is for Doom 3, of course, this would have stopped most or a lot of peer-to-peer downloading? Doom 3 is just one example where England has to wait 2 weeks after you get it here in the States.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying before, I do think that has something to do with it. People morally justify software piracy to themselves by saying, well, I've already put money down, and so I'm going to go ahead and download it because it's not fair that other people are playing this game before me. That's actually not true, and it's certainly a big contribution to the problem, because the way it works with peer-to-peer networking is, and certainly if you've used our own GameSpot download manager, you sort of know the drill. But the more people that are downloading the file, the faster the file goes for everyone. So, there's lots of talk about how the PC software industry in particular, the PC gaming market, is ailing, and it's no thanks to things like software piracy. And I figure if you've been waiting 5 years for a game like Doom 3, it's like if you can't kick down $50 or wait a while or borrow buy it at a discount or just borrow a friend's copy, or people have no excuse to not play that game legitimately, I'd say. So.
All right, we could probably answer all of your questions on Doom 3 for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
so
I'm on the forums talking about it, so just grill me there.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and move on to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the next big game, of course, coming out for the PlayStation 2 this October. Can you tell us a little bit, catch us up a little bit, kind of like where are we at? What do we know for sure? Specifically, let's start off with maybe storyline elements. We know it's in LA, and it's going to be 3 times as big as Vice City. Is that right?
Yeah. Actually, it's not LA. It's California.
California.
It's so it's going to be 5 times the size of Vice City apparently, wow. and it will contain cities modeled after Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So the game is kind of returning back, I think, to GTA 3's kind of more gritty urban roots, and takes place sort of in the early 90s, and is clearly influenced by movies like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. So the main character's name is CJ, and basically he returns back to San Andreas because a member of his family has been murdered, and basically he gets embroiled in a life of crime, and soon enough your GTA experience takes over. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then from there, it's kind of like the same setup that we've seen in the first 2 games. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they're really apparently trying to make the gameplay even more freeform, if anything, than the previous ones.
That's awesome.
The developers at Rockstar recognize that what people love about the GTA series isn't that you can, go beat people up with a baseball bat. People love that it's just this sandbox. You could get in a car and do crazy flips, or you can, ride around and just explore and find stuff. So this game will add things like, a trick system for a BMX bicycle. So suddenly you're playing like a,
Matt Hoffman game. Or
yeah,
something.
Exactly. So they're just adding more of these little side elements, and some players will really gravitate towards some, but not others. But the whole game is just going to be so big that I think GTA fans at the very least are going to find a lot of cool stuff in there to play with.
Now, speaking of cool stuff to play with, can you give us some insight on this whole food thing and how that's going to work?
Yeah, I think one of the weirdest elements that they're adding is apparently that CJ is going to have to sustain himself. He's going to have to eat or something, and so. I don't know, that's weird because most games where you have to eat, that's not really fun, but it's hard for me to imagine that they'd go out of their way to add, a cumbersome element, so we'll have to see what they do. But as you may have seen from the screenshots, there's shots of CJ where he's really obese, and there's shots of him where he's really fit and cut. So it's actually the same character. It's just depending on how you work out, and they're also adding gyms to the game, so you could be boxing a heavy bag and running on a treadmill, and this will actually have a gameplay effect. It'll make you stronger and run faster, so you can beat people up or whatever.
That's crazy.
And even so, it seems like even the getting fat thing may work in your favor to some extent. So you could be fat and strong, and that presumably will make it so that your punches are that much heavier, but maybe you won't be able to dodge the cops as readily.
Now, do you have any idea if ragdoll physics have been implemented?
Oh, I don't know. They haven't said anything about that. They have. We have recently reported on some of the changes to the graphics. They're doing things like upping the draw distance and upping the polygon counts, but from what I've seen of the game firsthand, which isn't very much, admittedly, it certainly looks like GTA. I mean, it looks like a more advanced GTA game, so people shouldn't go in expecting, a complete visual overhaul or anything like that. But with that said, it definitely has its own visual style, much like Vice City did.
Excellent. This comes in from Andrew from Belfast, Northern Ireland. He wants to know, will the E3 Expo Center be in the game, or was it just to show off? I think one of the screenshots.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's not technically the LA Convention Center, it's just the equivalent. I think that's going to be in the game.
Yeah, it looks like they made it.
Yeah, I mean, they've said that it's going to be clear that the cities in the game, although fictional, will have landmarks that are highly reminiscent of the real-world locations.
This question comes from Neil Christie in Scotland. I've noticed in many of the recently released screenshots that a blurry effect is present around models. Is that the trails effect from previous games before San Andreas?
Yeah, I think it's just the trails effect. The game will probably let you toggle it on and off or something like that. I doubt that. Well, actually, Rockstar's been a big fan of putting lots of kind of nice-looking visual filters on their games. Manhunt and Red Dead Revolver also had lots of cool kind of grainy video effects. So they'll probably do some visual tricks like that, but I hopefully it won't be anything that gets in the way of gameplay.
Right on. Well, we have time for one more question. This one comes from Tom Bowen, New York. He wants to know, can you take NPCs as any people on your crew? Can you take them on a mission or just certain missions?
That hasn't been confirmed yet, though it's definitely been confirmed that you will be able to go on kind of these mass drive-by shootings where, like, you're the wheelman, you've got like 4 guys coming out of the sunroof with guns and things like that. So we'll have to see. Hopefully there will be sort of like, maybe as you advance in status, you'll be able to like drop by your headquarters and pick up some homies and see what kind of damage you can cause. So
I certainly am looking forward to playing.
Yeah, I think the more details that come out about that game, the more exciting it seems, and we will indeed have more new details on the game soon.
Definitely. We're going to take one last question. This is not Grand Theft Auto related. This actually came out earlier in the week. Hamza Bosmir from England. He wants to know, and this is a question I'm going to ask you actually.
Okay.
What will the storyline of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater be? Was it revealed? Has it? What's been revealed so far?
Oh goodness.
The Reader's Digest version says.
Yeah, the Reader's Digest version is you're not going to know what the storyline of Metal Gear Solid 3 is until you finish Metal Gear Solid 3. So there's all the stuff about it taking place in the 1960s. Want to know my theory? My theory is it's going to be a Godfather 2 thing. Half of it's in the past, half of it's in the present. You play as both Big Boss and as Solid Snake. I have no way to verify that. That's not based on any factual information. That's just my own inference. I think that would be cool. I think there's clearly a lot of speculation that the guy stalking in the jungles with a knife in the 1960s is not, in fact, the Solid Snake we know and love. But if he looks like him, sounds like him, and plays like him, then might as well be Solid Snake. So hopefully there won't be any more Raiden incidents, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming by today. Appreciate the time. And thank you once again for stopping by and visiting with us here on the spot. Of course, every Thursday, 4 p.m. live right here from the GameSpot studios. We'll be taking your questions all week long, so if you want to send them in using the GameSpot Complete members, can use the on-the-spot form right there on the page. And non-GameSpot Complete members, if you want to send us some feedback, some suggestions, go ahead and send them to onthespot@gamespot.com. Remember, Metroid Prime 2, new footage, you saw it here first. This will be available August 15th, only available in a bundle pack with the GameCube. But yeah, for everybody here, for Tim, for Rich, who's not here, Jim, everybody in the studio, and the rest of GameSpot, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you soon.